Hi, it's Chris and Ken from IPD. One of the things you notice if you work here for a while is the way vehicles shift and the way they become more common in our customer base. One of the things we've noticed is that most commonly right now the home do-it-yourselfer is working on their 850 and 70 series cars that were made from 93 through 2000. There's a number of things we have that can help you keep these cars on the road and in good shape. Let's go through the most common ones. One of the most common and complex failures that these cars suffer from is the heater core failure. The plastic and aluminum heater cores in these cars have a limited lifetime. The heater core runs hot all the time, and it's just a matter of whether or not you're running air through it. So there's a high failure rate. We carry both an economy version and the bare OE version that you can install in these cars. There's a really good video we've got up on the web that's been up there for years that gets a lot of hits, shows you the step-by-steps and how to put this in. One of the things that's covered in the video is also that the firewall junction where the heater core pipes go through fails all the time, and we carry those in different versions. Also, just a side note for you, the 850 models have steel pipes, and the steel pipes tend to corrode and then leak at the ends where the junctions are. A lot of people will upgrade the steel pipes in an 850 car to the aluminum pipes that were from the 70 series when they do this repair. Make sure before you start this job to take a look at the video and check out the recommended products tabs on our website to show you some of the other minor pieces you might need while you do this repair.
If you own an 850 or 70 series car, eventually you're going to come across a clunk or a bump in the front end. More likely that clunk could be coming from the upper spring seat. This little piece here is a rubber component that hosts the upper front strut or spring assembly. Over time, these things crack, and that's usually because Volvo uses a lot of recycled materials in their rubber. They get hard over time, they can crack, especially when hitting a pothole or a bump in the road. IPD has manufactured these pieces using a lot less recycled material. We use a lot more silicone. It's a softer piece. We've actually reinforced the sleeve that's in this, so it's going to give you confidence over time. It fits all 850 and 70 series from 1993 to 2000. If you're experiencing a harsh clunk in the front of your Volvo, there's a good chance it might be one of your upper spring seats.
Since this is a frequent failure list, we absolutely have to talk about front end links. On the 850 and 70 series, front end links are a common failure problem, particularly if you're in a high corrosion environment. People that live in the Great Lakes regions, on the eastern seaboard, high salt environments, high failure rate on these as often as once a year in some climates. This is our IPD HD version. It's an improved version. This has polished ball and socket in it, and it has silicone boots for a longer lifespan. This is a good upgrade to keep your car on the road and spend less time working on it.
Another very important piece to look at on your 850 or 70 series Volvo is the PCV system, the positive crankcase ventilation system. And that's what this does. All these components ventilate the crankcase. Now what happens is when these pieces get plugged up or they crack and they're not working properly, you can actually create more oil leaks under the hood of your Volvo. And we know you don't want that. So a quick way to combat that is either have your car looked at and inspected to see if it needs a new PCV system, or you can upgrade your PCV system. IPD has various PCV systems located on their website. Some kits that we've even gone above and beyond OE and manufactured our own pieces to make kits that will really last a long time in your car. Some common failures on these things are just because they're so susceptible to oil and petrochemicals under the hood that they fail. Rubber components get mushy, they fail easily. We've upgraded those pieces. So if you're interested or you're looking at upgrading the PCV system on your car, please check out our website. We've got a ton of people here that can help you install it. It's very easy stuff to do, and it's also going to help the longevity of your Volvo.
One of the common issues you run into when you get an older car like this, it's not just Volvos, it's all vehicles these days. They're interference engines, they have complex timing belt systems. Volvo is no different. I know a lot of people want to avoid this, but you can't avoid it, because if you avoid it too long and the parts break, it will take out the engine and your car will likely end up totaled. We carry full timing belt kits for the different years and models. They include timing belts, idlers, tensioners. We also recommend, particularly if the timing belt has been changed once before, that you do the water pump. A lot of our kits include the water pump. You can check out the website and see the different packages. These are OE grade or better components. We don't recommend this is an area where you cut corners.
This next product that we're going to talk about is very simple for you to replace if it's something that you want to take on or challenge yourself to do at home. We're going to talk about the engine coolant temp sensor and the thermostat. Both of these pieces have the same symptoms. You can actually have a high reading on the coolant temp gauge, or it might even throw a check engine light. Another common failure that happens when the ECT sensor goes bad is your fan tends to run all the time, even after you've turned the ignition off. That's a telltale sign that something's going on from the reading from the ECT sensor. We carry both of these. They're both OE grade, and they're great products. Definitely something that fails on these cars. If you haven't run into it, I can bet you that you're going to run into it sooner or later.
We are talking about cars that are 15 to 20 years old here, so engine mounts are likely to become a factor at some point. Keep in mind in your head that there are two different kinds of mounts on these cars. One are the mounts that actually hold the engine up, they're underneath and they're supporting the engine. The other are what are called torque mounts. The torque mounts are to keep the engine from rolling forward and back under acceleration and deceleration, and these are very high failure items. There's both the upper torque mounts and the lower torque mounts. We have multiple versions of these in rubber. We have them with the brackets, without the brackets. We have them polyurethane upgrades for more stiffness and better performance. You really need to enter your car on our website and look and see which versions are available for your car. Everything from stuff that's just like the complete assembly when it was new to our fancy billet polyurethane upgrade pieces. Check them out.
1993 to 2000 850 and 70 series front-wheel drive models were equipped with standard suspension in the rear. When we talk about standard suspension, that means it has a spring that maintains ride height and a standard rear shock. Some models came with a NevoMatch shock, which is a self-leveling shock, which was an accessory for most 850 and 70 series cars. It's an easy check. What IPD did is we did manufacture overload springs. This is a standard replacement spring for the cars that you might see that are sagging in the rear end. Your eyes aren't deceiving you when you look at an 850 or 70 series that might be a little lower in the back than the front. These cars are getting a little older and the factory springs do become weak and they will eventually sag, not maintaining the factory ride height. IPD manufactures springs that will replace the factory ride height but also give you a little bit of additional help, if you will, to tow with your vehicle or put a little bit more load in the back end. For more information, check out our website on overload springs, and they're a really cool blue color.
The smallest member of our countdown, but not the least important, the key fob. These cars, the 93 through 2000 models, have a tendency for the plastic on the key fobs to just fall apart, and it's amazing how often we have customers come into the front counter here and when they throw their keys up on the counter, there's just a wad of tape with buttons on it that used to be their key fob. These key fobs are inexpensive, they're fairly easy to install, and it'll fix your key ring.
And it's amazing how much better your car will run with a new key fob. All right, last on our list is we're going to cover 850 and 70 series fuel door hinges and latches. Nothing's more embarrassing than driving around with a fuel door that's not even on your car, right? These are made out of plastic, and often as they get a little bit older, they will break. The fuel door can fall off. It might not shut, or it might not latch, especially if the plastic is broken off the receptacle that actually hangs onto the fuel door as you shut it. I don't know about you, but if you're in a state where you can actually pump your own gas, you might be able to get by with it. But if you're in a state that actually does pump gas for you, it's definitely nice to pull up in your vehicle and have it be complete and not have it wide open with a fuel door cap that's not there. So IPD has a bunch of these things on the shelf. Check out the applications on our website for which piece might suit your model. We're always here to help you with your 850 and 70 series. What we just covered was IPD short lists, but that doesn't mean that there's other common problems that are out there that might rise up with your 850 or 70 series. And that's why IPD is here to help. Make sure and check out our website for more information regarding all 850 and 70 series cars. You can also contact our customer service department at 800-444-6473, and they'd love to go over any item that you have questions about regarding your Volvo. Thanks for watching and have a great day.